Hey friends, it's Allison here, and on the second Saturday of every month, we have a program called Kids in the Garden, and it's for ages 7 to 9. And this past Saturday, on April 10th, we had Kids in the Garden, and we talked about companion planting and herbs. And so today we're going to talk about companion planting, and I'm going to also show you how to plant some herbs. So today, I'm in my greenhouse. It's almost done, we're getting there. I'm still growing plants in here because it is springtime and you can grow these plants outside. My greenhouse will actually be a four seasons greenhouse, so I'll be able to grow all year round. But we're not here to talk about greenhouses, we're here to talk about companion planting and herbs. And so, what is companion planting? Do you know what it is? What do you think it is? Let's think about it. What is companion planting? I'll give you just a second to think about it. Companion planting is where you put some plants and other plants together in the same pot or in the same bed. And today we're actually going to be planting in pots and we're going to be planting herbs. So, will some herbs do better with others? Because it also depends on their height, how much water they need, do they need full sun, not full sun? And for example, like mint is a very aggressive kind of plant. So it's better off growing in a pot all by itself. You can put it by other plants, but it's better off in its own pot. Basil is a great companion to a wide variety of herbs and plants like parsley, rosemary, oregano, and chili. Since it can repel harmful insects as well as mosquitoes, a lot of herbs can benefit greatly from having it planted in close proximity. However, basil should be kept away from rue and sage. Consider height when selecting herbs to grow together in a pot. Tall herbs like fennel will look rather ridiculous for the scale of a smaller pot, and they may even become too top heavy, causing the container to fall over. If possible, mix in some trailing herbs to cascade over the container edges. Be sure to choose plants with common irrigation needs when mixing herbs in a pot. While pretty much all herbs love sun, some have more requirements than others. For instance, rosemary, thyme, and sage like it fairly dry, but tender basil and parsley need more consistent moisture. Also, if you know that you are forgetful and likely to miss a watering here and there, you might want to select only those herbs that are drought tolerant. Plant mint by itself, like I said earlier. All mint has a tendency to rampantly grow over and into other plant space. Be careful about which mint varieties are grown together. For example, if you plant a lemon mint with a spearmint, they might cross-pollinate. So what I have here, this is one of the troughs that I'm actually going to be planting in today. Not this one, but it's exactly like it, but empty. This is actually curly parsley I have right here. This is lemon balm, and this is flat Italian parsley. So there's two different types of parsley and a lemon balm. These actually go very well together, and so that's why I planted them in the same pot, and they look very pretty together. I will show a little bit closer to the screen so you can see. It's very pretty. I love having plenty of herbs, but I'm also going to move this one to the side. I really wanted to show you. So I have a mint. This is a peppermint, and I planted him in his own pot. So I kind of have him for just a look. I really don't do much with peppermint, but you can put it in teas and different things like that. But I like peppermint because it's a very pretty just plant to grow. So yeah. So I'm going to move these to the side. And so today I have two plants of cilantro and two different types of parsley. So that's what we are going to plant today because these are great. These do very great together. And so we have the same pot as the one I showed you, but it's empty. And so I'm going to show you how to plant these. So I'm actually going to grab my soil in my soil bin that I have here. I'm hoping I'm not making too much noise. So I'm going to kind of show you like this long way so you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some soil in the bottom. I kind of like to fill it up. You don't always have to do this, but it seems to work better. So we're going to just use our hands. If you don't want to touch the soil, you can also wear gloves. but I kind of like to get my hands a little dirty. So this is a fun way to do it. So we're gonna keep adding, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of a line on this pot, which really does help because you don't want to go all the way to the top, because when you water or when you actually add your plants, you don't want the soil to go over, because the soil will end up, because when you water you have to have a little bit of room for watering too. So now you can see I have a beautiful soil, and you may have to take some out when you're adding your plants. So we're gonna move this soil over, and we're gonna grab our plants. And so I'm gonna actually start off with our cilantro. So I'm gonna actually put the cilantro next to each other and then actually put the parsley. So I'm gonna actually turn this so you can see. And so this is my cilantro. Oops, they kind of got a hold of each other here. Hold on, there we go. So I'm gonna take the tag out, but you wanna keep the tag though, so you know what plant it is. So you're gonna kind of squeeze your pot just a little bit, but this is the most important part, because you don't want to mess up your leaves. So I kind of put my hands in and kind of grab it and let it go in between my fingers. If you can see it in between my fingers, and then we're gonna flip it upside down. You may have to squeeze a little bit more. You can pull just a little bit, but don't pull too much. Well, look at all those roots. Look at that. So what you're going to do before, you're going to make a little hole. You can move the dirt around. You may have to pull some soil out. That is okay. So we're going to make a little hole here. So we got a little, you can see how where my hand's at, it's a little bit of a hole. So what you're going to do, you're going to not rip at the roots, but you're going to kind of pull them apart. You want to kind of wake them up a little bit. This kind of wakes them up. So once you plant it, it's like, oh, okay, I want to spread out. So now I'm going to turn it back over. You can still see it's very pretty. And then we're going to sit it down in there just like that. And you're going to take your soil you pulled out and push it around. And you may have to pick some up a little bit and make it work. Put some around, and what you may have to do is shake it a little bit, bounce it a little bit, put a little bit more over here, and looky there. Now you have a planted cilantro. Whoop, the wind is blowing, but that's okay. So now I'm going to put my tag in, so I know that one is cilantro. And we're going to do the same thing with this cilantro. We're going to plant it right next to it. You don't want to plant it right up next to it. Just want to go over just a little bit. Or before we actually pull the plant out, I'm going to actually make a hole this time. There's different ways you can do it. So I'm making a hole. You can see I'm making my mound of dirt over here. And some of this dirt may have to come out because we still have 2 other plants to make. So I may have accidentally put too much soil, but that's okay. So we're going to take our fingers again, kind of wiggle between, be really careful, flip it up, down, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze a little bit. That kind of helps loosen it up against the pot. It may not want to come out. Aha, there we go. We're going to put that to the side. We're going to do our little messing with the roots. It's a little bit messy. That's why I'm outside of my greenhouse. And all the bird noises and cars driving by. But now we're going to put our soil around. Keep putting a little bit more. Ooh, I'm making a mess around here. But that's what's fun about gardening, is making a little bit of a mess. So now I'm going to put my tag right next to my plant, so I know that one is cilantro too. And you'll kind of know because they look just alike. But since we're putting parsley and cilantro together, you definitely need your tags because they kind of look the same. If you can see, we'll move a little bit closer to the camera. They sort of look the same, they're sort of different, but if you don't know the difference, you may get them confused. So we're gonna make another hole. We may actually take some of the soil out. Whoop, we're gonna go right back into our bin because we kind of have a lot of soil in here. I probably shouldn't have added that much, but it happens, and that is a-okay. So we put a little bit back over there. Okay, we're gonna put just a little bit more out. And so now we're gonna do the same thing. Take our tag out, set it on the table, do our little finger, and grabbing our plants just a little bit to hold them, and flipping upside down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I think it has a grip on it again too. Let's see. Oop, there it goes. Look at that pretty roots. So pretty. Okay, so we're gonna do our little messing with the roots a little bit and making sure we have the nice hole, and flip. Push it down just a little bit if it needs to go. And then we're gonna put all our soil around it. Maybe shake it a little bit. You may need to grab a little bit back from where your other soil is. Add a little bit, and looky there. Look how pretty that is. Then we're gonna, don't forget your tag. Put your tag in there. And so now, I'm gonna move this out of the way. And we have one plant left. So, what we're gonna do with this, we're gonna put this soil back into our bin, because I don't have anywhere else for it to go because I have other plants in here. So these are in a little bit deeper pots. So, okay. So we're gonna take our tag out, sit it right next to it, and do the same thing we've been doing. Just grabbing the plant, turn it upside down, squeeze, 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 boop. And then this one's not as rooty. It doesn't have all those roots, but you still kind of want to mess with it. And spit it upside down, or flip it upside down. And take some soil. Making a mess around here. Put my tag in, may have to jiggle it, settle the soil a little bit, and there you go. Now you have your companion planting, and you have your herbs planted, and don't forget to water them, because you need to water them in to make sure the soil settles down and that their roots, it kind of helps their roots go, oh, there's water, let's grow. And so that's what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to water. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed learning about companion planting and how to plant some herbs. And I hope you go and you plant some herbs and maybe even some veggies. Bye! See you next time!